first thing I noticed as I entered the house was the mystifying feeling surrounding it. My family had been facing financial problems for quite some time, and so when news of my dad's great aunt's passing and leaving the house to Dad came up, we packed up and moved there as soon as we could. Mum and Dad were both work-at-home writers, and our schools were not too far, so we didn't face any problems and moved into the mansion very soon. There was something in the air that just shifted as we entered, like something was wakened by a presence. But it had seemed that I was the only one who felt it, as my brothers and sister walked behind my parents excitedly, so I brushed my feelings off and joined them in their excitement. The mansion was huge, with a huge dining room, a vast kitchen, a lounge, a library, and a large study. Our rooms were very spacious, and we even had a huge attic. Some days later we were cleaning up the attic, when at the very back, in a corner of the attic, we found a wrapped up painting. It was a very weird painting, with silhouettes and dark shadows and greys and black colours used. It was not an exquisite painting, nor was it a very beautiful one, but there was a certain allure to it, and thus we decided to put it up in our lounge. A few weeks later, my great-uncle came to visit us and see the house his childhood was spent in. He arrived at around lunchtime, and we quickly took him around to see the house. There was laughter in his eyes and a jolly smile on his face. However, when we reached the lounge, as his eyes landed on the painting we had found in the attic, the light in his eyes and the smile on his face vanished into thin air, and he turned as pale as a sheet. He started faltering and muttering, "No, no, this cannot be. No, not again." He was extremely confused and troubled as to why he gave such a reaction. He quickly covered up the painting with a tablecloth and led us all out of the room. We were seated at the dining table when he told us of how the painting had brought doom to their family. His father had bought the painting at an exhibition and hung it up in his study. Little did they know there was a demonic presence in the painting which slowly pulled their family apart and consumed his father, leading him to take his own life, leaving the family devastated. We were horrified to hear the story and thought of burning the painting, but the entity was so strong that we were unable to burn the picture, so we buried it in our backyard. But in the next few days our family faced many problems. My sister became even more rebellious, and my elder brother just became disconnected with everything. Our parents started arguing more and more, and I became unable to concentrate on anything, be it my studies or be it my leisure activities. And soon my little brother also started receiving complaints from his school about his behavior of not being able to concentrate on anything. Then came a great problem. My brother caught a very weird disease that no doctor really seemed to know of, and he started to have episodes where he would just sit silent and stare off into space while we all tried talking to him, and he would later not remember anything at all. This was very scary for all of us, but when we got to our backyard to look for the painting, as we suspected all this had something to do with it, it was nowhere to be found. My brother was sent off to our aunt's house, and we received his treatment there, as Mum and Dad started looking for another house for us. We all just drifted apart, doing our own things, and no one really bothered to bring us all together. Unexplained things kept happening so much, they became a part of our routine. Soon my brother got better and we all started feeling a lot lighter, but none of us knew about the bomb that was about to explode on all of us. When my brother came back home, we all had a dinner together, but the nervousness in the air was very noticeable. Then, all of a sudden, all the lights went out. Mum brought a torch, and when the light shone on us, we saw with alarm that my sister and my little brother were not there, and none of us had heard them move. Hearing voices from the second floor, we rushed up to the attic. Upon reaching there, we saw my little brother lying unconscious to the side, while his head bled out on the floor, and while my sister sat in front of the painting muttering what seemed like weird chants. Then, all of a sudden, her chant stopped. She stood up, turned to us, smiled coldly at us, and plunged a knife right through her heart, and we could only watch as the light left her eyes and she left this world. In the morning we mourned the loss of both my little brother and sister. My brother had had internal bleeding and he could not be saved. We left the house to never return, and the painting was never found anywhere. But even in the later years, the cold smile and the blank eyes that my sister had looked at us with haunted me in my nights and haunted me in my days.